Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. Okay, and remember, no subject is off limits. All right, we are your hosts today. I am Dr. Lila M. Blair Sr., the most humble servant of God, and I'm sitting next to the glorious, the wonderful, the beautiful, the magnificent, perfect wife, Saint Jasmine the First. Saint Jasmine the First, my wonderful wife. Okay. So again, we got a good one for you as always.
Welcome everybody to the F3 podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we premiere a new episode for you. And be sure to take us with you. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Anchor, Spotify, Castbox, and wherever your favorite podcasts are streamed. Check out the links below in the description box and the show notes to find out how you can be an avid supporter of our podcast, as well as about some of our books and some of our other products and services we have available. And if you have a topic suggestion, something you want to hear here on the show, something you know you can't ask your pastor because you might get the left foot of fellowship, listen, be sure on that same support link, you'll find the option to send us a voice message. And who knows, your topic may be the topic of the next episode. And we don't even have to tell anybody it was you. So we're going to get into this next one. All right. There's a lot of memes about this, a lot of conversation. I don't think we're ever actually going to hear the end of this debate, this conversation. So go ahead and put this up. We are going to talk about ministry titles today, obsession or necessity. Now, we've all heard that they're not necessary, but some circles use them sparingly. Some people definitely go overboard with a plethora of titles. So what do? Do we really need ministry titles? How should we respond when we don't agree with somebody's title? I think all of these are good questions for today. So I want to kick it over to you. So you could just give us a rundown for those that are a little bit new. We want to talk about how, and listen, y'all, we're not racist. We love God's children, all colors. But you got to, if you've been in church any amount of time, there's a difference on how titles are addressed in more predominantly black circles and more predominantly white circles.
Right.
So I want to kick this over to you. What can we expect with titles when we walk into the typical charismatic, predominantly Caucasian church?
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. When it comes to predominantly Caucasian churches, you're gonna find a lot of titles. You're not, and if you find a title, it's only going to be the title of pastor.
I should have brought some popcorn for this episode.
You had the senior pastor, then you have the executive pastor, and then you got the pastor of worship, the pastor of the youth, the pastor of the sound room. But outside of that, you're not going to find a bunch of titles. You know, you're just not going to find it. You know,
the most commonly used title is brother.
Brother.
Well, brother.
Yeah. You know, even the pastors, they'll be like, hey, I'm brother so-and-so. I'm brother so-and-so. And I'm brother so-and-so.
I remember I went to one church. I was invited by a friend about a decade ago. And the man of God who was a senior leader, he was basically doing the work of an apostle. He just wasn't going by apostle. Mm-hmm. And he was like, they were introducing him. And somebody was like, brother so-and-so, he's the pastor, senior leader, he's our spearheading founder, he's the apostolic head of this work. Oh, now, I know so-and-so is, trying to be honorable. I mean, really, like, are we really ever, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we start calling anybody apostle around here. I mean, that's just a little bit crazy. And I'm looking like, but you are an apostle. You're doing the work of an apostle. Right. At that time, the man had started the ministry. He had been in ministry about 40, 50 years. He started the ministry from scratch. He built it up to a certain place. I think 3 people who were birthed from there went on to start like chains of churches. And he had several churches. He was in India and all these other. I'm like, you're doing all of the apostolic work. I don't think we're really gonna call anybody an apostle now. That's just a little bit crazy. Let's not get in over our heads. We don't want to get caught up in pride. I'm like, but you're doing the work of one.
Yeah. Yeah, then a lot of them, that if they're doing the work of an apostle, and if they take on any title, they're still going to be pastor. This
Yeah.
is Pastor Bill. Pastor Bill got other pastors under him in the ministry, got churches all over the place,
Pastor
got
Bob,
sons
Pastor
and daughters
Sam.
everywhere. I'm
know.
just like, what? Pastor? It's
Because we got to play it. We want to be humble. So as long as everybody's calling ourselves pastor, even though that's not our office, we're being humble.
Right. So yeah, and I love my Caucasian brothers and sisters, but when it comes to the title thing, I think it's false humility.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it's false humility. In the name of being humble, I'm not going to really accept who. Excuse me. Don't know why I'm sneezing so much today. But in the name of being humble, I'm not going to fully embrace who God says that I am. It's just like no. It's just like even with the charismatic prophets, either they call them brother or they just call them by their name. So and so's coming to town. Hey, Jim Johnson is coming to town. I'm just throwing out a name. I almost said Jim Jones, but that wasn't a good example. Jim Johnson is coming to town.
Kool-Aid doctor.
Yeah. Jim Johnson is coming to town. Brother Jim is just such an awesome prophet. He's accurate and this and that. But people need to know what an officer looks like.
Ooh.
How can you properly discern a prophet if you don't label one?
That's good.
Well, and a lot of them say, well, you don't need a title, just do the work. No. Because here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have the title of a parent. Mom and dad is a title. It's an office. It's a title. But you wouldn't dare let your kids call you by your first name.
Good morning, Martha. Where's my cereal?
Right. Right. You be ready to smack them in the mouth. You see what I'm saying?
Like that little boy on the video. Listen, Linda.
Yeah.
No, honey, you listen.
Right. See, we would consider that disrespectful, but then when it comes to the church, it's a total different story. When you stand before the judge, you're not going to say, "Hey, Judy." No, it's Your Honor.
Uh-oh.
Your Honor. Okay. I see.
Should I hold you in contempt of court and carry your butt out so fast?
Yes, they would. Yes, sir, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. You understand? But then when it comes to the church, we have this, to me, it's this hypocritical false humility. And it really diminishes the power because, see, now people don't reverence it right. Mm-hmm. I knew one prophet. He went to a charismatic church, and they were like, "Hey, brother." They was like, brother, I need a word from the Lord, and blah 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 blah. He said, "Well, you got to call me prophet." He was trying to break that false humility. He said, "Well, you got to call me prophet." Why? It's just like, no. It's just like you want something from me. You want something from me, but you don't want to even really fully honor the office in which it will come from.
What you honor is what you receive. They wanted something that was attached to the office, but didn't want to acknowledge the office. Brother not going to bring you the prophetic word. Now, yes, God can use anybody to prophesy. Hear what I'm saying. Catch this. Brother's not going to bring you the prophetic word that's going to shift the whole season of your life that you need.
Right.
The prophet in brother is going to bring you that word.
Right. So you need to honor the prophet.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says this: if you receive a prophet in the name of a prophet,
not in the name of brother,
you shall receive a prophet's reward.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, you receive a prophet because he is a prophet. He is named a prophet because he is whipped through the process to become a prophet. Mm-hmm. You shall receive a prophet's reward. So you don't receive the reward of an office you don't acknowledge.
You don't receive the reward of brother.
Yeah. Now I understand. Our Caucasian brothers and sisters, they go, I mean, they play that false humility card like it ain't nobody's business.
Mhm.
But then when it come to us folk, well, we the chief major galactic
Episcopal Nostradamus of the quadruple golden arch of McDelios Province Diocese Church.
Right. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Yeah, black folk, we kind of take it too far.
Right.
We can't just say, I'm apostle so and so. No, we apostle, doctor, major, prophet, so and so. And I'm not against some of the titles. It's just that you gotta pick one.
Right.
Pick one. Either you're a master prophet or a chief apostle. Pick one. Why do you have to be both? And master's in the Bible, chief is in the Bible. I'm not gonna argue with you about that. All right. I'm not against those things, but we see a lot of the abuses in the black church.
That's good.
Okay.
We do.
So you the archbishop, chief apostle, major prophet of your diocese with 5 members. Yeah, it's crazy. And then some of these guys, they change titles like they change draws. I remember there's one pastor. One moment he was pastor, one moment he was prophet, next moment he was apostle, and then he back to pastor, and then his apostle, and then he's back to prophet again. I'm like, if this guy make up your mind on what you want to be. That's all I ask. Make up your mind. And then a lot of these people, especially black folks, they carry titles that they don't carry the function for. Okay, you a chief apostle of what? You don't even have. God has not given you a dispensation. Because the Bible said Paul was given a whole dispensation. He was given a whole era. But anyway, we don't talk about that. You chief apostle, ain't no apostle under you. No apostle reports to you. You're chief apostle. Okay. Huh? You're the there's a title out here called Mother Chief Apostle. Mother Chief Apostle of what? Mother
These
Chief
people
Apostle.
Better stop playing.
And you got nothing but women under you, and they all single, or they all over their husbands in the ministry.
Yeah, that sounds like the Apostolic Mean Girls Club to me. That's what that sounds like.
You a spiritual mama, but you single, and everybody under you is single. See, this is the kind of thing we deal with in the black church. And then we get mad if people don't address us by a title.
Exactly.
We get mad.
How dare you?
So I said to one lady, I mean, if you did, you can call her apostle. Oh, you will be corrected on the spot if you called her apostle. It's chief apostle. What does it matter? Does it matter? Is chief apostle a separate office from the apostleship?
Now, suppose somebody come into the church though that don't know how all that works. You see what I'm saying? They off the streets. This is their first time visiting.
People still call me pastor, and I'm nobody's pastor. Okay, I'm an apostle. I'm a prophet. You understand what I'm saying? I am a spiritual father. So there's some shepherding elements that come with that. But baby, I will hurt you. I will crush you as a pastor. You don't want me as a pastor. Listen. There's a difference between having me as a pastor and having me as a father. You understand what I'm saying? And I know y'all think they both the same thing. They're not. No. You don't want me as your pastor. Listen, I'm a nice guy, but I have my limits.
Yeah, we're definitely not pastors.
And my attention span is short. I'm not gonna sit and listen to your sob stories all day. Like I'm gonna tell. I'm. The whole time you talking, I'm seeing. You know, I'm in the spirit while you talking. I hear you, but a lot. Yeah, like, 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 like. I'm a nice guy, but tact with my words sometimes is kind of hard.
While you're talking, the Lord has shown me where you're lying.
Yeah, and then I just got to just listen to you.
Well,
Now I got a lot of love to give you. You understand? My heart is big for people, man. But you don't want me as your pastor. No. I don't have the. I have the patience of a father, but not the patience of a pastor.
See, you get to a certain point in your story, and the Holy Ghost confirmed that was a lie. Mm-hmm. So, do you really want counsel, or are you just here for counsel for your version of the lie that you're telling me today?
Boy, it's a good smoothie, baby.
Which one do you want?
Yeah. So yeah, we got Jesus Christ. In the black church, we got a lot of work to do with these titles because we got titles we're not even living up to.
And the reality is, why do we get so offended when somebody calls you by the wrong title or what? Most people, if their understanding is pastor,
right,
or minister or elder, but most people know pastors. So even if they don't know anything about church or how it really works, they're off the streets. If your unsaved co-worker come to church, they're gonna use the term pastor. That's what they understand.
Yeah,
that's fine. You don't want to risk running people away because they didn't use the right title. Who cares? They made it to church.
Right.
If they decide to be a part of that household of faith and integrate, they'll learn as time goes on. Right. But we should not be so upset. How dare they call me this?
Yeah.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah, the leader I sat under, I mean, she would act like she's just so grieved in her spirit that you call her apostle. And I get it, but everybody's not familiar with the term chief apostle. Mm-hmm. They still getting acquainted with the term apostle. Surprisingly.
And nobody's a teacher no more. Everybody's just a pastor.
Nobody's a teacher ever.
It's just pastor.
So yeah, I don't see nobody being ordained and released as a teacher. Yeah. So I mean, it's really sad, that black folks get caught up like that. See, black folks, we pride ourselves in titles. See, white folks, they'll dress in humility. Us, we got to have the vestments. We got to have, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that, because I have an understanding of why they do it. But it's two total different cultures.
That's right.
You're not going to go to Bethel and Redding, California, and see anybody with vestments.
No.
When they ordain people, it's probably going to be in jeans and a button-up somewhere.
And that's their culture.
So over here, okay, black folk, predominantly black churches, you're gonna see vestments.
It's a whole fashion.
It's a whole get up, and they got to have the processional and all that other stuff. And I think white folks can learn a thing or two from the black folk too.
Yeah.
And I think both parties can learn from each other.
Exactly.
Because we casualize. I know sometimes our Caucasian brothers and sisters can casualize things that we deem sacred. Mm-hmm. You understand? So it needs to be an understanding. It needs to be the bridging of gaps. I think I like both sides. I like things about both sides actually. And I'm a guy. I preach in jeans, Jordans, and everything else. But see, when it come time to ordain some folks, you will see me with a collar. Mm-hmm. That's just because I think it's sacred, and I think I think it needs to be treated as something that's holy. And when when you go to work for certain jobs, you wear a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
You,
And I think it's interesting for me because, the church I came up in was non-denominational.
yeah,
The pastor had a background in the Baptist church and the Pentecostal church and some other things. So the church was non-denominational. So there was a mix of people, always a mix of people and cultures, people of all colors. The praise and worship, even though it was predominantly what we would call black praise and worship or black gospel, there was more contemporary songs in it. So
right.
it was not what most would consider the full black church experience. So it was always mixed. Some people were dressed, some people weren't. So it wasn't until I transitioned from that place, I honestly realized how very real the divide was. Because like I said, I didn't grow up in church. When I went to church, I went on my own. So this place was different kind of people, mix of clothes, mix of worship styles. And so I'm like, people do like when I started to see this difference, I'm like, this doesn't have to be like this.
Right.
Because the place that I was at, everybody felt comfortable. If you wanted to wear a suit to church, you wore a suit to church. If you wanted to wear your jeans and your tennis shoes and your button up, you could do that. And everybody got along. Everybody did praise and worship together. And of course, when we had certain events and it was time to dress up, everybody dressed up.
Right.
When it was time for everybody, okay, it's t-shirt day or whatever, we all doing t-shirts and jeans and sneakers, everybody did it. Right. It was fine. I think the danger comes in when we say it has to be one way or the other. I don't think we should really do that. We take away some of people's individuality. It's one thing if you're having a certain event and, you're doing certain things, but the reality is we got to realize in some of these places where you got to do this, and it's like we were talking the other day, you still got some churches, they want all the women to wear skirts and, they want all the men to wear suits or at least, dress pants. Some of these cultures in ministry where we've got to dress a certain way, let me tell you something, you're going to miss out on a whole generation. Some of y'all done already missed out on most of us millennials. Because if I had to go to a church like that, I would have never got saved. I'm just be honest. I would have never went. I'm not wearing that. I don't like that. That's actually itchy and uncomfortable. And if I got to wear that to say that I serve God and I love God, I'm not going.
Right.
So part of the reason, the next generation will be saved. Well, do you have an environment that they're going to feel their salvation is worth it?
Right.
Do they have to add another category to their wardrobe? Right. Come on now, we're getting ready to go into a recession they're talking about. Some people got college debt and all this other stuff. They're in between jobs. Do people really have to add another section to their wardrobe just to be able to come to your church and worship? Those are the questions that you honestly have to ask yourself. Is your space truly available for the next generation to come in and worship, or do they have to dress a certain way? And we're not talking about people that you might be taking through leadership training or something like that. I'm just talking about they just coming to visit.
Right.
They just coming to the service just to worship or hear the word or just to be a part or just to come and sit. What is in place? What is the what are they allowed to do? Are they just allowed to come and be? Or is not right? I remember I was looking at the church's website a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying on the website, how you had to wear certain stuff, and all the women have to do this, and you can't wear this, and all the men have to do. I'm just like, okay, who is coming to your church? Obviously, somebody is there, but it's just like you're losing a whole generation. I'm telling you, there's a whole generation out there that's saying no. We were one of the first as millennials. But when you go after us to Generation Z and even Generation Alpha after them, we're saying no to a lot of this traditional crap. Yeah. Not God, but the traditional crap. No, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And a lot of people are shocked, by the audacity, but no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. If I've got to add a whole section of my wardrobe to come to church, I'm not doing that.
Right.
My assignment it transcends many places in society. Whether I'm at church, whether I'm at a business conference, whether I'm on a date or at home minding my own business. My clothes need to fit every facet of my being. Right. This is how we end up with so many schizophrenic people in the church in the first place. Right. Well, I got to be this way here, and I got to be that way here. And you just You just living a whole double life. You got a different outfit for every life. You're like, no. We've got to start making people whole.
That's right.
If you got to keep separating your wardrobe, you outside of work, you outside of church, people don't even know who you are because you're not wearing the same clothes.
Right.
And who is that? I almost didn't recognize them. They've known you for 10 years and they catch you outside of church and you got on something that you done had for 10 years and they've never seen. No, there's got to be a unity. If we're going to accept people as they are in context, then they should be able to wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
They should be able to wear the same clothes. Now, if you work in food service and you got a uniform and you got to change your clothes because you smell like food, that's understandable. But if you work in the office, you should be able to clock out and come to work and come to church in what you have on. You know, if you work somewhere, anywhere, if you just was at home and you decide you're clean, you're fresh, because we all believe in the spirit of deodorant, amen. But if you want to come in, why do you have to change your clothes? I'll never understand it. And that's one of the biggest things that we see in more of these more liberal and charismatic environments. There's truly a love for you to come as you are, and there's no expectation for you to have on certain things.
Right. Yeah, and again, you know, there's a generation now that's getting away from that, and they're seeing more church growth.
Yeah,
they're seeing more miracles. Okay, because you know, I used to be totally against vestments. I'm not now because I understand why people wear them. Okay, I understand why they wear them.
You got 2 hours before I put something else on.
Yeah, but I ain't wearing that stuff all day. Okay, like I've only preached in the collar probably about 2-3 times, and right after I was done preaching, I heard but took that stuff.
You got 2 hours.
Because I don't like nothing around my neck unless it's gold. You know, unless it's gold, as you can tell. I like gold around my neck. Okay. But I understand why. And I understand, you know, and people that's more of the Orthodox persuasion, they really take that stuff seriously because of what it symbolizes.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Absolutely.
But
you got 2 hours.
Yeah, now some guys, they go through these ordinations. I mean, it'd be a 5-hour-long ceremony, which I think that's too long. A 5-hour long ceremony. Like, listen, I'll be sleepy, hungry, hangry, and everything else. Okay. But you know, and then there's no transfers of gifts, no impartation, no prophecy, none of that stuff. You know, a lot of y'all do ordinations wrong. You put more into the ceremony than the actual transferings and the conferring of authority. But anyway, we're gonna get on that another day.
Yeah.
Because a lot of y'all don't do ordinations right. And then people come out of that ceremony just as powerless as they was when you're supposed to leave with extra power. You're supposed to leave with something of substance outside of paperwork. All right. So the reason why we got a bunch of powerless leaders today is because nobody got nothing to transfer.
Come on.
Your hands is empty, baby. Your hands is empty because there's nothing to transfer from your spirit to your hand, through your hands to that individual.
Right.
Okay, a bunch of empty hands on empty heads. That's what we got. That's what our ordinations are today. I don't care about your there's no point in the processionals and all them thousands of dollars you spend on garments. There's no point in that if there's no real power.
Y'all need to be buying plots of lands with what y'all have spent on some of these garments.
For real. You know, when we are ordained 2 apostles last year, people said that, and listen, I had on the collar and all that stuff, but people said that they've never seen nothing like that, and I was shocked. I'm like, how is it that you never seen nothing like that?
Because these things be a fashion show,
you know. But then y'all leave these things with titles, archbishop, this, that, and the third, you know. But then, you know, and according to y'all succeed the apostles, right? I don't see no apostolic power. Okay, but you claim succession, but there's no power. If you succeed the apostles, you should walk in the power of the apostles. Last time you cast out a devil. Last time you healed the sick. Huh? When last time you seen a miracle? Hello. but you want to bear titles. And see, that's another thing too. Back to the titles.
Yeah.
We bear titles
that we don't show the fruit
that
of.
we don't show the fruit of. First of all, if you're an apostle, you got no miracles. You're a false apostle. I don't care how many churches you plant. I don't care how many sons and daughters you got. You got no miracles in your ministry.
Because that's a believer manifestation.
First of all, one of the major differences between an apostle and I would say a bishop, really, have you seen the Lord? Mm. Tell me what your post-resurrection experience was like. I'll wait. Most apostles can't even tell you that. And Paul said that was a qualification.
Yeah, we're going to have to put all that in a master class.
Yeah. Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Am I not apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Okay. I can tell you, I can tell you quite a few experiences I've had with Jesus. You can tell me what Jesus looked like. Okay. Huh? And I don't want to hear nothing about. I don't want to hear none of that Black Hebrew Israelite stuff either. Because when I saw Jesus, he wasn't white European and he wasn't black African with dirty nappy dreadlocks either. Okay, y'all try to make him white, and then the black folks try to make him African black.
That's too much.
He was a Middle Eastern man with Middle Eastern skin tone. Okay, so it's not European white and it's not African black. Okay.
So any closing remarks when it comes to the titles?
Titles. Nothing wrong with them. My Caucasian brothers, listen, people need to know what an apostle looks like. People need to know what a prophet looks like. If it's in the Bible and you're walking in it, you need to be labeled as such. Okay? It's not false humility. It's actually you owning what God is, owning where you are. And see, is you owning where you are and you being an example of that. Okay, all right. Let the people identify you. All right, and to my black brothers, listen. First of all, make sure you are that, number one, because getting bored in ministry and planning your own elevation is not. That's not cool. All right. And all these extra titles and stuff like that you don't produce the fruit of. Listen, you don't have to be a chief apostle. You don't have to be a master prophet, anything like that. I knew this one guy called himself a master prophet. You ain't produced no prophets. How you a master prophet? You ain't produced no prophets. Just because you can teach good. Okay. No, don't mean that you are a master prophet.
Right.
Or a chief prophet. For that matter. So, let us number one, embrace the titles that Scripture says. Number two, let us walk worthy of our vocation and walk worthy of the titles that we carry. All right. And number three, let us stop being so title paranoid. Yeah. That we don't let nobody call us anything outside of what we're comfortable with, because we just want to be little humble before God. Want to be little humble before God. No. You're not pleasing God with that. No. You're not pleasing God with that. So you might as well embrace the fullness of what God really desires for you to walk in.
That's good. Listen, we want to thank you guys for joining us on this episode. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Definitely be sure to follow us on IG. You can catch us under the name King and Queen Blair.
King and Queen Blair.
Until next time on the F3 podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.